Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hi guys, how are you doing? How is your Saturday? If you're not listening to it on a Saturday, fill in the blank or don't. If you're not paying attention to days of the week anymore, most people aren't, except people that have to go to a job. So I've been looking at Earth news, and there isn't anything that I haven't really already said, except there is expected overnight 1 foot of snow in a huge snow dump is coming through Michigan, probably through the rest of the Midwest as well. So I hope all my homies in Detroit are staying warm tonight. And I don't know. I mean, I guess there's been a lot of little earthquakes around the world. In New Madrid, I think that's in Spain, 3.6 about a week ago. And I don't know. I mean, it's just like normal stuff, though. I think I heard about some real small tornadoes that didn't really do anything. Thank you, God. But as far as symptoms, I mentioned symptoms a couple days ago, and then yesterday I mentioned one that I'd forgotten to say, the heart palpitations, which is still going on. And I was going through something, and I honestly thought it was because I had been sick. I'm at the very tail end of a virus. I had pneumonia, and I thought it was just asthma, so I went on medicine only for asthma, then realized it was walking pneumonia, and my fingernails and lips started to turn blue, and I thought, oh God, actually I have pneumonia. So I went and got the antibiotics, and I got the prednisone again 2 times in a row. I did 2 7 days worth of prednisone. Got rid of all that and got a virus. So then I heard Lisa Transcendence Brown talking about how our immune systems are being revamped, and that's going to show up different for different people. So we're all going to be different in this. Well, if we have some things that are unresolved, any issues or past things that upset us in regards or relation to illness, we're clearing that out while the immune system is being redone in our bodies. Well, then I got the message that this week specifically, we're also getting our skeletons revamped. So our brain and spinal cord and all of our bones. Have you guys been super tired? Have you had pain in your bones and your joints and headaches? Ugh, it's all a part of that. It's so weird. It's like I've been having headache after headache after headache, and I'm like, is it just that I'm not having enough caffeine? Am I late with having my coffee? It's just my addiction to Ecuadorian coffee, which is so excellent. And I kept like, well, maybe I just need to have some coffee now. And I can't sleep. I'm having massive insomnia, like 5, 6, 7 in the morning. I finally mosey off to bed. I finally feel tired. And then I sleep 8, 9, 10 hours. It's like, why can't I sleep 8, 9, 10 hours, at a decent hour? So then I started sleeping every other night, going to bed pretty early every other night. So this past week has been crazy with the sleep. A lot of aches and pains, a lot of muscle spasms, a lot of my bones in my back are out of place. I have a rib out of place. I mean, it feels like I've been sleeping rough. Like I'm fighting my covers in my sleep, or maybe I'm having super active dreams. The only dream I remember last night was I dreamt that the pigeons that live outside my window miraculously got super clean, and all the mites that are on them were gone, and they came and sat in my hands and I pet them. That was the only dream I remember was from yesterday, that I just loved my pigeons, and we had a really good relationship, and we were, and we do actually now, we have a really good relationship because I'm not feeding them anymore after Fred got kind of aggressive and violent with me. Like, literally, it was like one of the starting scenes in The Birds where they start to get a little feisty and they start slapping you with their wings, and then he looked like he was going to bite me with his little beak. I'm all, dude, I don't need to be feeding you if you're going to act like that towards me. Bite the hand that feeds you, see if you get fed again, dude, honestly. So we now have an understanding that I will love you, I will send you energy, I will talk sweetly to you, and I'll be nice to you, but I'm not going to feed you anymore. And it's worked out because now I go to the window and I'll open the window to just get some fresh air, and the pigeons will hop up on the ledge right next to me and walk like right next to me. Like where they're like, sometimes Ethel will even like touch me with her wing now. So, it's just like crazy. It's like I'm developing like a friendship with these birds. Maybe I need to get out more. I don't know. But I've noticed that the symptoms that I've been having, I honestly thought it was just a virus. I just thought, well, when the virus is over, I'm not going to have it. Well, I went looking on the internet, and everybody that is aware of their symptoms are having the same thing. Ringing in the ear, the tones have gotten different, a lot of pressure in the head, fogginess, people are sleeping 10 to 12 hours at a time. I know I slept, I think 3 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, so 12 hours today. A lot of stuff like that. Drinking coffee that normally stops my headaches, not stopping my headaches. I had intense pain in my bones and in the joints of my back, and I thought, well, it could be the weather's coming. I'm a weather witch. Could be that storm is a brewing. But usually what happens is if I take aspirin, it goes away. Took aspirin the other day, did not go away. Iced my back for like an hour last night, put literally ice directly on my spine, and it did nothing, and I was still in pain. And I have I did do an episode on pain, and I have these tennis balls I wrapped in tape to put it's like my do-it-yourself chiropractic kit, and I put that on my spine. Usually puts my spine back into place. I mean, I laid on this thing for like an hour and could not get my bones back into place. I mean, it took 2 days and they finally went back. I think the rib it's sore, but it's now finally back in place. So if you're going through these symptoms, just breathe deep, maybe take an Epsom salt bath. I've tried to take Epsom salt bath, and I have this huge thing of Epsom salts that I bought. I paid $7 for a bag of Epsom salts, and it's disappeared. It's completely disappeared. I've looked and looked and looked and looked in my room. It's nowhere to be found. I asked my son, did I give this to you? And he's like, nope. It just freaking disappeared. Things have been disappearing from my house, and no one comes in here. I'm here all the time. The door's always locked, and things keep disappearing. As we go up into the 5th dimension, things are just disappearing. Sometimes I'll ask nicely and the things will reappear within the hour. So, I don't know. It's not spirits. The only spirit I've had here lately was Hunter S. Thompson. He was here yesterday, came back again today. We had some pretty good talks. But he's not a thief. I mean, the kind of trickster things he would do would be like lighting dynamite in your backyard as a joke. He loved explosions, but I mean, there's nothing that he would do that's been happening in my house. I mean, it's just like you buy something, it's there, you go to find it like a week later and it's gone. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, we have electronic equipment, we have jewelry. Why take my bath salts? It makes no damn sense. So I don't know if it's my higher self messing with me, just saying, hey, you got to go through the symptoms without alleviating. I don't know. I started eating meat again, and that did make me feel better. Not every day, just a couple times a week. When I was eating vegetarian, I felt great for a week, and then I started feeling lethargic and horrible. Ate meat again, I feel great. I did for 6 months. I was vegetarian, and so it was working for a while. Now it's not back to not working again. But besides all these horrible symptoms, my skin is flawless. I look like I did when I was in college in 1994. My hair is growing back its original color. I'm waiting for my body to catch up to looking like it did when I was in my 20s, but I feel it's coming. I really do. I think some of my muscle tone is already starting to come back, which I already had muscle tone, but now it's like it kind of went away for a while. Now it's like starting to come back. I'm starting to feel fit again and starting to look fit again. I don't know. I have heard, though, that people that are farther along on the spiritual or ascension path, they have said, oh, you're going to get your 29-year-old body back for sure. If you're an older person, and if you're young, you're not going to age. You might get taller. We're all getting taller. People have reported they had to buy a new pair of shoes because their feet got bigger. I mean, not teenagers, but I mean people that are older. My 19-year-old has gained bigger feet, and he's gotten taller. He's gotten an inch taller, maybe 2 inches taller, but he's on testosterone. He just started the transition, so I feel like it might be the T in his case, but other people have reported it, like, wow, I had to go buy new clothes. I'm taller. I'm a bigger person. It's really strange. See, I'm a short person, so anytime I buy pants, they're like, a mile too long, and I've got to roll them up. It'll be nice to not have to roll up pants, as much. Probably still have to roll them up, darn it. So I don't know. I mean, what symptoms are you guys going through? If you want to discuss it, I wouldn't mind doing a whole show on this. Very weird stuff, man. I mean, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Not by a long shot. Haven't been for a very long time. We're already on the new earth, and things are, as we drop our 3D constructs and our negative fear-based mindsets from the 3D, we're going to start embodying the reality of the 5D. So you got to keep working on yourself emotionally, psychologically. Some people have gotten their violent parts of their personalities have started to come out in the past few weeks. A lot of the violent thoughts and the situations and, well, if so-and-so said this to me, then I'll just do da-da-da-da them. That kind of thing. Like, I can finally now, I mean, in the past couple of years, I could finally, well, actually, since I left Peru, I had to be on guard at all times. But I mean, I'd walk down the street looking at people and picking points. If that person pulls a gun, I'm going to move like this. If this person pulls a knife, I got to move like that. If this person does this, I'm going to react in that way. And I used to have these ideas and scenarios in my head all the time as a point of self-defense. I guess that's why I thought it was okay for me to move to Mexico, Guatemala, Colombia, Peru, and now Ecuador. Because it's like I took self-defense. I took it for years. I know how to handle myself. And I just was always picking out points. What am I going to do if da-da-da, And I finally feel safe. I'm finally in a place for the last 18 months where I don't feel like I need to think of people as potential attackers anymore. I also think that was a 3D construct. And now I'm just focusing on love and joy. And when I walk down the street, I think, God bless that person. God give that person love and energy. That person looks like they're suffering emotionally. Please send them love and light. And today was the first day. I left the house. I did go down the street, went to a little store to buy some vegetables and fruit. And I just saw this these young people, they're all in love and holding hands, and I just smiled and said hi, and it was just like such a normal thing. And then in the store there were several people, and this old lady was with her little grandson who looked to be about 2 years old, and he was running around circles literally in the store, had tons of energy. And she was like all embarrassed, and I said, you should be happy for him because he has so much energy, he's so adorable. And she's like, yeah, that's true. And then it kind of changed her frame of reference a bit, you know. So I'm like not feeling like defensive anymore. All that's gone. I'm feeling like, thank God, I can breathe again. I feel like more me, but the me part that identifies with my soul. And sometimes I go through the point where I'm identifying with God, but I'm not 100% doing that all the time yet. I want to get there. I'm almost there. I have whole days like that sometimes where I just identify as God, and just, instead of saying, God bless those people, I'm blessing those people. I bless you. I send you this. So I don't know. I mean, I might be ahead of you guys. You might be ahead of me. We are all going at our own pace. Just like when a baby learns how to talk and walk and do all the wonderful things babies do. You know. Oh, and speaking of babies, that's another weird symptom, is when I start to really get into the energy of the joy of God's creation. You know, like the beauty of the universe, and it starts to hit me in new ways now. When I see color that's so beautiful that it makes me want to cry. I see certain points in the sky and I'm just like, there's like a green blue that happens, and it's only for a split second and then it's gone. And it always makes me cry when I see it. It's so rare to find it, to see that. But when I see it, it's just, it reminds me of home, and I can't explain it. You know, people ask me what your favorite color is. It's that one color that's in the sky for like a nanosecond and then it's gone, and it makes me cry because I can't see it again till tomorrow. If I'm at the right place at the right time, and there's no clouds in the sky and the conditions are correct, and I get to see it again. And it's like I'm an artist and I try to mix my paint. I can't ever get that color exactly. It eludes me, and it just drives me crazy, but in a good way. And I'll see like a color that I like and it's so beautiful, and I focus on it. And then I start to see higher octaves of it. And then I start to see in between the dimensional layers around me. And I start to see things in higher dimensions. And it blows my mind. I don't know if you guys are going through that, but if you pay attention, you're going to start experiencing it also. And when you get that magnification app I talked about the last 2 days, and you start to look at your skin underneath the sun, we have a gold sheen to our skin now. It's incredible. There's like little flecks of silver and gold, and also rainbow, like crystalline rainbow structures. Literally in our skin. Literally in our skin. Like we are changing into crystalline beings. Keep looking, keep looking. Notice how your face is becoming more flawless. Your wrinkles are going away. Your hair is growing back original color. There's 3 or 4 things I'm hoping, I can't wait to happen. I'm like, come on, body. Let's get back to that 29-year-old self. I know we can do it. Do it before my twin flame gets here. And then I'm always praying for my twin flame to get here. I wanted to mention a special YouTube channel tonight on YouTube, Rest Relaxation Reiki. It's all one word, Rest Relaxation Reiki. For any Reiki you need that you want to see, like this woman does such a beautiful job. She has these beautiful floral backgrounds. It's like a green screen behind her. And then so it looks like there's giant roses behind her. It's so lovely. And then she always has a spread in front of her of different symbols and ginormous crystals. I mean, this woman must be wealthy because her crystals are huge. I mean, they're as big as her head, and she'll have like 5 or 6 on the table sometimes. In every single video, it's a different kind of crystal. She is an incredible woman, and she's got good energy, and she does these Reiki videos. And I mean, I've made a playlist and just had the Reiki be beaming at me all night. But she just had a sponsored video that she released to the public. When someone pays her, she'll just do the video and then she'll release to the public if they say it's okay. And it's for twin flames to reunite. So I just did that, and the roses in the background are peace roses. So not only is it beautiful to look at, you could feel her energy. Even if you watch the video every day, and she did it like weeks ago, you still feel the energy of that. If you want to receive Reiki in real time, just ask God out loud, I would like to receive Reiki. You could ask my higher self. It will flow to you immediately. I'm constantly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, flowing my energy, my Reiki energy into the grid that I helped create on Earth. It's a pink grid. Think like pale electric pink, ultraviolet pink. That's the color of it. And it's got like white mixed in, kind of swirly, like silver white energy. You might perceive it differently, but the energy flows constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Other light workers are putting energy into this grid, the ones that are aware of it, that help to build it, because I know I didn't build it alone. It surrounds the whole planet. You can ask out loud, God, please heal me, or I need healing, or whatever it is that you say, universe, whatever your word for anything, divine, angels, whatever. The energy will automatically flow to you, and it will come up through your feet, or it will come up the side of your body and enter the point of your body it needs to. It's an intelligent energy, and it's always going to flow the way it needs to. Personally, I can never direct it. It's Reiki. It's divine, intelligent energy. So I can never direct it, so don't worry about that. It's always going to do what it needs to do. So let's see if there's anything else I needed to say. Not really. I don't think there's anything. Oh, something really strange did happen to me last night, and this was like out of nowhere. And then my son, this happened to him. He has a girlfriend now, my youngest kid. He's got a girlfriend, and he goes over to see her, and he brought her a pomegranate and a croissant the other day. It was adorable. He's like, "Oh, Mom, I'm gonna show up with a kind of a romantic snack." I'm like, "Aw." That he rocks her home from school every day. And he said it's so strange because suddenly out of nowhere in the past 3 or 4 days, girls he had met over the past year to 2 years, they all, within like a 48-hour period of time, they all came back and started going like, "Hey baby, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah." And he's just like, why would these women barely talk to me when we met and didn't want anything to do with me, wouldn't give me the time of day? Back when I wanted a girlfriend, and now suddenly I have a girlfriend, all these people are flowing into my life. And he's like, this is just really strange. Well, somebody else I know started to say the same things. Like, why are these people hitting me up now? Why am I suddenly getting bombarded with these romantic requests? It's kind of bizarre. Well, last night it happened to me, and I'm like, what? Okay, so 6 months ago, I'd been trying to talk to this person to kind of get to know him. Maybe we're going to start dating. Who knows? It'd be nice to at least go out for a beer once in a while, or, a cup of coffee or something. I don't drink beer, but, often. But okay, so as I got to know him, he was like we had some things in common, but most things not in common. And he's not the kind of guy I want to date. I learned it when he said he hates museums and anything intellectual I mentioned, he said he hated to do that. No, I don't like to visit archaeological sites. No, I have no interest in anthropology. No, I don't like spiritual things. I don't believe in God. It's like, well, obviously, dude, you're not the guy for me. You don't have to believe the way I believe, but you don't have to be such a jerk about it, right? So last night, 1 a.m, he asked me if we could get together right now. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not one for the booty call. I'm flattered, thank you, but no, thank you. And then he kept on, and then he just kept crossing one boundary after another with me. I finally just shut off my phone, went to bed, and I'm like, wow, that's weird that's coming up again. So it's yet one more time, but now I'm seeing the pattern in another person, and without having to engage myself with it, I just have to, all right, I'm going to look at that and go, I see your pattern. I hope you heal, and I'm like, well, remember when I said 5 minutes ago I needed to sleep and I'm not interested in the booty call situation? And he's like, well, we could just get together and talk. Maybe we could kiss. I'm like, it's 1 a.m. I'm coming down, or I just had a cold. I'm recovering from that still, and he just kept on and pushing me. And I go, you know what? I really need a man who would respect me and actually care about my health. And he literally said, well, yeah, in a magical world, but let's just skip past all that. And I was like, whoa, let's skip past the point in which you no longer feel like you want to respect me. Wow. Like, that was weird. Like, it didn't engage me emotionally at all. So yay for me. I'm growing. I'm not angry about it. I'm just looking at his broken patterns. His mental patterns are just so broken. And I'm like, well, God heal him. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go out there because I'm not there to heal people anymore. Not in a direct personal way anymore. I do put it into the grid. You could take it all you want, take all the energy you need. But it's not for me to help heal people's patterns any longer. My higher guidance told me that message back in March. The time for healing others is over as far as stepping in and dealing with their stuff. Now it's time for you to deal with your own stuff. Every individual must mature spiritually and grow spiritually and take responsibility for themselves spiritually. It's just, we're at that point. We're no longer spiritual babies, bumping into furniture and, pooing our pants or whatever, whatever metaphor you want to take. That was gross. Sorry about that. But I mean, like, we have to be spiritual adults. Doesn't mean we can't be hey-yoka and joke around. We can joke around, but we have to take responsibility for all of our own stuff now. And that was a message that I had gotten. So I just thought it was funny that this guy didn't even talk to me for like 6 whole months. And he just was trying to booty call me. I'm like, dude, I have never met you in person. And I think it's this kind of behavior that made me not ever meet him in the first place. And I feel like he's just going down the line and treating all the women in his phone the same way, hoping one's going to go, okay, and be a doormat. But you see, we're all, as human beings, we're growing up. And we're not falling for this crap anymore. He's like, but I need you. I want you in my life. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't care about me. If you cared about me, you'd say, get some rest. I care about you. But he didn't say that. And in contrast, my friend from Argentina, Pablo, he's like, well, I'm in this other city right now, but I'll come back and see you when you're ready. I want to hang out with you and hang out with you in the park. And, he said, how are you feeling? I just want to make sure that you're getting healthy because that's the most important thing, that you're healthy and then we can meet. And I'm like, see, there you go. He's a person that goes to the rainbow gatherings all over South America in his VW van. It's so cool. And then this other person from another city, around 10, started flirting with me too. And I'm like, but he's not disrespectful. He's just like, well, I hope you feel better. And just please come to Loja. He lives in Loja. He's like, please come to Loja. I want to meet you and hang out with you. And he's telling me about all these cool parks there. Cool person, But it's freaky to me that suddenly out of nowhere, 3 people hit me up in one day too. Is it happening to you? And also my old friends are contacting me that I haven't heard from in a while. There was one friend I had, she and I were inseparable practically, and she was calling me every day for 7 years. And then we I just stopped talking for a while, just randomly. And I think I was going through my divorce and she was overwhelmed and she moved to Asia and, so just leading totally separate lives for a while. And then we were talking again. It was just like we kind of go back and forth. You know how you do with friends, long-term friends. And all of a sudden she contacted me like 3 or 4 years ago and asked me how I'm doing. And I started to tell her some stuff that I had not put out on Facebook. I had not put out publicly at all. But it was some really brilliant, deep, powerful spiritual transformations that I had been through. And I was really, really happy. And finally had found a sense of peace inside myself. And I was starting to tell her about this. And she goes, oh, yeah, I know you just don't have any money and you're just traveling around and whatever. And I'm like, and I was starting to tell her, no, I'm like living, I'm solid. I'm in Detroit. I've been here for a couple of years. And she just wouldn't hear it, didn't want to hear it. She just wanted to say negative stuff to me. And then she said she couldn't talk anymore. And I tried to talk to her about a year or something ago. I had heard her on a, spiritual video on YouTube talking to Abraham. And I was like, oh my God, this is my best friend. You know, my best friend from years ago. She's not my best friend anymore, but she's not even my friend anymore, to be honest. But I was like, oh my God, I heard her. I heard she was in Florida. She flew to Florida to go see Abraham. I'm like, that is freaky. Because she was asking them the same questions that she had been asking me for like 15 years. So I was like, weird. Well, she started to call my kids to ask them to tell me to call her. And I'm like, be a responsible adult. Call me yourself. You know what I mean? Like, that's weird. And then my kids are like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that, you know, your friend contacted me a week ago. That's kind of freaky, right? So old friends are coming back. Did that happen to you guys? Old friends are coming back, especially old friends that like decided they can't be your friend anymore for whatever stupid. She said that I could help her spiritually. Yeah, no, I can't. Sorry. It's your responsibility, not mine. Tell me what's wrong with me. No, it's up to you to determine what's wrong with you. Be an adult for once. You're 40 years old, you know? I can only do so much. Well, give me insight into me, you know? She kept saying that. Give me insight into myself. Like, well, you are pretty damn demanding. Oh, it's so ridiculous. And she literally contacted my oldest kid like 2 or 3 weeks ago and contacted my youngest like a week ago. And they both were like, why is she bothering contacting us? Why can't she just write you directly? I'm like, I have no idea. Chicken shit? I don't know. It's so strange. And I don't know if it's just that my energy she can't gel with my energy. And so she wants to reach me, but it's like there's a block. The universe is blocking her somehow. I don't know. Or if she's just being chicken. But I've noticed that these are the kinds of things that have been happening. Not just to me or my family, but just to other people. I talk to other people, and then other friends of mine just won't even return anything anymore. They hear that I'm into the ascension. They think I'm a kook, I guess. They don't want to deal with it. They put their heads in the sand. And then I'm also getting new friends come up. Brand new friends are coming in my life that know about this stuff, and they're like, yeah, I feel it. I feel it. We are definitely ascending. We are on new earth right now. In this moment, we're in the 5D. So anyway, ascension symptoms scale for today is 92. We went up 1 since yesterday. And as far as the Schumann resonance, it's calm. Just like last Saturday, it's calm. Totally calm. So, I don't know. I mean, those are some of the weird things that are happening. I mean, you know, the weather has gone crazy up in the U.S. The sky is looking strange. You know, as per usual, it's now the new norm for things to look weird. And those are our symptoms, are just lethargy, super tired, falling asleep at the drop of a hat, you know, hearing something deep and spiritual and just nope, and your brain shuts you off and you go to sleep for an hour. And you got to go back and rewind that video and try to hear it again. And if your brain shuts it off, just keep going until you could get through it while you're awake. Well, at least that's what happens to me. It's crazy. Lisa Transcendence Brown always puts me to sleep. And she's like super exciting to listen to, but like the energy and the level of her words get so intense for me. I just, brain shuts off. It's like I'm a robot and someone just pushed the button at the back of my brain and nope, sorry, nope, I'm done. But friendships are switching around and loyalties are switching around and family members are either dying or not talking to you or suddenly super attracted to talking to you again. People that were engaging me are not engaging me as much anymore. I've noticed that people were being disrespectful for the most part have dropped off out of my life. I'm going to have to ask Spirit, and someone did point this out in a video, you have to ask Spirit to get only the correct people in your life now. Because I don't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? I don't have time for people to be disrespectful and rude anymore in my life. You know, I don't need anyone to try to engage my ego anymore or to try to manipulate me, you know, with that, well, you're alone, so maybe you better get with me because otherwise you're just going to be alone type of energy. Like, I've had a few people say that to me. I'm like, dude, I would rather be alone than be with you. Sorry, so sorry. But I don't know. I want my twin flame. He and I have been telepathing really well this week. It's been wonderful. You know, I just want to see him in person, though. It's just, it's coming. It's all coming. All the good stuff is coming, guys. It is almost there. We are almost there. But since it's Saturday and my stories ran out for Grandma Marion a couple weeks ago, and last week was the first week without a Grandma Marion story on a Saturday in like 2 or 3 months' time, I have decided to just kind of go over poetry. Because, you know, we've been working on ourselves so much, haven't we? I know you guys have been working really hard. And every day is about busting those old patterns and the 3D paradigms and the blah. You know? And I just spent, like, what? I'm on minute 37 and we just start talking about it again. It's like a constant thing where we're blah. And it's like we're looking at our lives holistically. You know? We're not just like, you know, oh crap, I got this illness, let's focus on that. We're like focusing on everything at once. Let's bust up our patterns from our ancestors, bust up the patterns from our families, bust up patterns that we picked up as people. Let's repair all of our relationships at the same time. Our bodies are breaking down so they can build back up again. Let's deal with that. And now maybe I don't want to have a job anymore. Maybe I can't be a healer anymore. Not in the same way. I'm definitely not being a healer in the same way I was before. I was going to come to South America to open up a healing retreat center. I was going to specifically do a cancer healing center. But now my higher guidance says, no, don't even open a healing center. Open a spiritual retreat center, not a healing center. It's like, oh yeah, okay, that's a higher octave, isn't it? If we just focus on spiritual stuff, you're going to heal automatically if you have to. But it's not going to focus on healing. I mean, everyone and their uncle came to Ecuador to open one of these healing centers, actually. I get down here and there's like freaking thousands of people that want to do the same freaking thing. It's like the new Sedona or some crap. You know, it's a new Shasta Sedona. It's like, no. Yeah, I'm not going to dance around naked under a full moon, call myself fucking Rainbow. Sorry, ain't going to happen. But I'm going to do some really crazy stuff, and I am going to do some rainbow-related things. I'm going to do some stuff with the Kabbalah. I'm going to build stuff. I mean, like, I know where I'm headed, and I'm going to start building these amazing buildings, and it's going to be teeny tiny buildings, but a whole series of them. So I mean, if you come to my spiritual retreat center, you're going to be like a completely transformed person when you leave. But it's not a healing thing. It's going to be bringing yourself in alignment with your soul. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build it so you're doing it. You're going to do your own work yourself. I'm not going to do anything. I'm actually just going to build it. If you build it, they will come, baby. Field of dreams, man. Although this is going to be more like the Andes Mountains of dreams. Anyway, I'm going to come right back, and I've been hearing the word Walden for like 3-4 days. I've been hearing Walden in my head. God is like, I'm like, what poetry, should I read? Should we go into Omar Khayyam? And God's telling me Walden. So Henry David Thoreau it is. I'm going to come back and we're going to read some of the book Walden. We're probably going to go into some of his poetry. I will start with a little bit of a biography about Henry David Thoreau, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. This is going to be one of those nights where you can just sit back, relax with a doobie if you're in California, or one of the 14 states where it's legal, or Canada. Yay! Or Amsterdam. I actually do have a friend in Amsterdam. He's like one of the number one DJs there. Woohoo! Mr. Green, hello. Art Green. But I will come right back after this message, and we'll get into Walden. We'll see what that is, right? All right. Be right back. Hey, you. Have you ever thought about having your own podcast like me? Was it even a New Year's resolution? For me, it sure was. But as I've been looking into this for months, I was daunted. There's so many questions I had. When I was trying to get this off the ground, I was wondering, how do I record the episode? How do I get it across all the platforms? How do I get my podcast on Apple Podcasts when I don't even have an iPhone? How do I get it onto Spotify and all the other places? How do I get people to listen? And how do I make money from my podcast? How do I edit it? Oh my God, I had all these questions, and I was so confused until I discovered the simple answer is Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free, and it is ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. All you need to do is record it. You don't have to go out and look for people to advertise on your show. They help you. So basically what I like about podcasting is I don't have to have a video of myself. You don't know if my hair is dirty or if I'm still in my pajamas or even if I'm wearing makeup. Haha. And it's so easy. I could do this from the comfort of my own home in my living room using this amazing app right from my cell phone. So easy, right? So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money, by the way, doing it, please go to anchor.fm/start. That is anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters that are already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast, and I can't wait to favorite you. Woohoo! Let's be broadcast podcast buddies. I'll see you there. Henry David Thoreau was born on the 12th of July, 1817. And he passed away on May 6th, 1862. So he was born 202 years ago. He was an American. He was an essayist, so he wrote essays and poetry. He was a philosopher and an abolitionist, naturalist, obviously, because he loved being in nature. He resisted paying his taxes, so he was heavily into civil disobedience, and he even wrote an essay called Civil Disobedience. He's best known as a historian and a transcendentalist. You know, Stevie Wonder sang about that. Remember that song? Transcendental meditation gives you inner preservation. Love that song. Anyway, that's a good jam. If you ever just want to kind of get like all into the music, Stevie Wonder, I love him so much. So, okay, Henry David Thoreau is best known for his book, Walden, which was just like a reflection on living simply in nature. You know, he would have gotten along great in this time. In fact, he's probably been reincarnated, and he probably, I don't know, if I were to pick a place in the world for that man to reincarnate with these ideas, along with the civil disobedience and the not wanting to pay taxes and stuff, I would probably buy him. If I was a millionaire and eccentric and I knew it was him, I would put him in, just south of Berkeley. In the Redwood Forest, just south of Berkeley. You know, the Redwood Forest that's up on a cliff in Santa Cruz, and you're looking out over the ocean. I mean, that would be his heaven. That would be where he gets along, right? Similar-minded people, and definitely that would be his place. So I'm going to get into reading a couple of his things because I feel like you're gonna like his stuff. There's something really strange is that he had a very prominent nose. And somebody said, Ellery Channing wrote about his disposition and appearance. His face once seen could not be forgotten. The features were quite marked. The nose aquiline, very Roman, like one of the portraits of Caesar, but more like a beak, as was said. Large overhanging brows above the deepest set blue eyes that could be seen, in certain lights, in others gray. Eyes expressive of all shades of feeling, never weak or nearsighted. The forehead not unusually broad or high, full of concentrated energy and purpose. His mouth with prominent lips, pursed up with meaning and thought when silent, giving out when open with the most varied and unusual instructive sayings. Yeah, that's about what I expected. He was born in, his name was Henry David Thoreau, but he was born as David Henry Thoreau. So he just switched his names around. I don't know why, so no one would know it's him. Could we not see through that thinly veiled disguise? He was born in Concord, Massachusetts. I think that place is famous for its grapes. Just ask Welch's brand grape juice. Some of the best grapes on the planet come from there. And he was born into a modest New England family. His father was a pencil maker. Wow. That's some serious whittling right there. But how do you get the lead in? Okay, I don't know how to make pencils. His mother's name was Cynthia Dunbar. I knew somebody whose last name was Dunbar. Sweetest person on the planet. I loved her so, so much. And I met her when I was a kid, and she actually invited me to her wedding. And my parents took me. I couldn't believe it. She was an adult. She was my one of my teachers. Sweetest person in the world. Anyway, it has nothing to do with anything, but I just think anyone with the last name Dunbar, good people. I just feel that's true. He did go to Harvard, and I wonder if he was one of those people who went around going, yes, but in Harvard I learned. Yes, I went to Harvard. Like Frasier did on Frasier. It's like part of your tuition at Harvard is learning how to fit the fact that you went to Harvard into the sentence. I think it's like a lifetime of bragging. That's what you get when included in your tuition when you go to Harvard. Sorry. All right, we're going to get into some of his writings, because his writings were so incredible. I think, though, before I get into the more natural, beautiful writings that are super intense, we're going to go over and look at the civil disobedience, because in case you have any kind of residual feelings, I mean, we've got elections coming up in the United States in the next year or so. We've got some things going on next year, I think, is the primaries. So, we are having some problems, right? Not going to lie about that. But, so I'm going to see what he had to say in this. So Henry Thoreau was arrested and imprisoned in Concord for one night in 1846 for non-payment of his poll tax. This is according to Walden.org. This act of defiance was a protest against slavery and against the Mexican War. Woo! Love this guy. How cool is that, right? So basically, they did the right thing, man. Good guy. So I wanted to say that because I just thought that was cool. Good for him. It's okay that he went to prison, even if it was for one night, because he went to Harvard. I'm proud of him, man. Aren't you? Wow, 200 years ago. Good person. All right, I'm not going to read the whole essay because it's enormous. It's 16 pages long. You can look on Walden.org and actually get not a copy of it, but I mean, you could. You probably download it and print it up if you really wanted to. But you can actually read this directly. I'm going to read part of it, okay? He says, I heartily accept the motto that government is best which governs least. And I should like to see it acted up to more rapidly and systematically. Carried out, it finally amounts to this, which I also believe, that government is best which governs not at all. And when men are prepared for it, that will be the kind of government which they will have. Government is at best but an expedient, but most governments are usually, and all governments are sometimes, inexpedient. That means going through stuff quickly. Sometimes I feel the need to explain stuff that's in English because some of my listeners are in South America and places in which English is their second language. So I'm not trying to talk down to my English speakers, but I'm trying to explain to my non-English as a first language speakers. All right. So basically, this is his stand against government in a way, and it kind of goes a little bit more towards the anarchy side of things. So when I start to read some of his other stuff, it just gives a broader picture of who he was as a person. You know, I kind of relate to this guy quite a bit. Like, I love being outside in nature by myself. I love that. And I also, you know, I don't want the government in my business. It's just the way I am. I mean, you know, I'm a Green Party member. I'm kind of lean towards libertarianism. You know, I just like complete and full freedom. I don't really need someone to tell me what the law is. Ooh, you're breaking the law. Ooh, how dare you smoke a plant God created. Wait, what? You know, it's kind of weird to me. You know, I mean, if I run a red light and slam into a truck, yeah, throw my ass in jail for the night. But I mean, I don't do that. Most people just live their lives. I think parking tickets are horribly wrong. Okay, so now I'm going to get into some of his other quotes, and then I'm going to get into some of his poetry. I love this. I relate to this quote quite a bit. He says, rather than love, than money, than fame, give me truth. Yeah, truth above all else. That's one of my quotes. Truth above all else, even if it hurts. Truth is more important, I think. At least for me in my life. This is on a sign back east before you walk into the woods. I love this. He says, I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I thought that was cool. Here's a quick quote. We are born as innocents. We are polluted by advice. It's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see. Yeah, that's the difference between looking at something and seeing something. And it's similar with hearing. It's, you could hear something, but you don't get it unless you listen to it. It's pretty profound, actually. All right. Let's see if there's any quotes here. And then we're going to get into his poetry. I think that his poetry is where we're really going to find the goods, right? If you guys want to pause this and go make some popcorn, make yourself some hot chocolate or tea or whatever you feel like, cuddle up in a blanket because it's cold in the U.S. right now. Here's one more quote. Two more quotes. All misfortune is but a stepping stone to fortune. Well, that's good to know, yeah? And here's another one. Not until we are lost do we begin to understand ourselves. That's true. Actually, when you think about it, have you ever been lost? Are you calm and you know you're going to find your way back? Or do you start to panic and freak out? And do you fill your head with thoughts of negativity and fear? It's true. Go walk around in the woods and get yourself lost for a minute. See what happens. That's when the true you is going to come out. For sure. For sure. Okay. Here's another one. I have never found a companion that was so companionable as solitude. All right, a few more. I found some really good ones. There is no remedy for love but to love more. Yeah. I agree with that. The language of friendship is not words, but meanings. Pursue some path, however narrow and crooked, in which you can walk with love and reverence. You must live in the present. Launch yourself on every wave. Find your eternity in each moment. Fools stand on their island opportunities and look toward another land. There is no other land. There is no other life but this. That reminds me of another quote. The grass is always greener on the other side of the septic tank. Irma Bombeck. All right, we're not on an Irma Bombeck night, but you know what? We might do an Irma Bombeck night because she was hilarious. Laughter is the best medicine. Okay. In a world of peace and love, music would be the universal language. All right, now we're going to get into some actual poetry. Happiness is like a butterfly. The more you chase it, the more it will elude you. But if you turn your attention to other things, it will come and sit softly on your shoulder. The poet's delay. In vain I see the morning rise, in vain observe the western blaze, who idly look to other skies, expecting life by other ways. Amidst such boundless wealth without, I only still am poor within. The birds have sung their summer out, but still my spring does not begin. Shall I then wait the autumn wind, compelled to seek a milder day, and leave no curious nest behind, no wood still echoing to my lay? That was pretty cool. I like that one. All right. Here's a prayer. Great God, I ask for no meaner pelf than that I may not disappoint myself, that in my action I may soar as high as I can now discern with this clear eye, and next in value which thy kindness lends, that I may greatly disappoint my friends, however they think or hope that it may be, that they may not dream how thou'st distinguished me, that my weak hand may equal my firm faith, and my life practice what my tongue saith, that my low conduct may not show, nor my relenting lines, that I thy purpose did not know, or overrated thy designs. Here's a quick quote that I saw, and it's among the poetry that I found, but I liked it. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. We are happy in proportion to the things we can do without. If ever there was a candidate for living in a tiny house, Henry David Thoreau. He's probably living in a tiny house right now in Northern California. Okay, back to poetry. Low anchored cloud. Low anchored cloud, Newfoundland air, fountainhead and source of rivers, dew cloth, dream drapery, and napkin spread by fays, drifting meadow of the air, where bloom the daisied banks and violets, and in whose fenny labyrinth the bittern booms and heron wades. Spirit of lakes and seas and rivers, bear only perfumes and the scent of healing herbs to just men's fields. I like that one. He talks about fairies, he talks about the meadows and the daisies and violets. I don't know, are you seeing white daisies with yellow centers and the bright purple violet flowers? They're so beautiful. My life has been the poem I would have writ, but I could not both live and utter it. Oh, I like that quote. That's like, it reminds me of when you go traveling in the world, there's two kinds of people. There's two kinds of travelers in this world. There's the ones that want to go from place to place to place to place to place to place to place and take 1,000,000 pictures and then come home and see if they enjoyed their vacation by looking at their pictures, looking at their Instagram feed and their Facebook feed and blah, blah, blah. They have to look at their social media to see what they did, where they went, and if they enjoyed it. And then there's the kind of traveler that will go and sit and observe a place for 2 or 3 months and not really take many pictures. That's me. I'm the second one. Like literally, I went to Guatemala to see it, and I lived there for 9 months. And I went to different cities. One city I only stayed 2 weeks in, but most of the places I spent 3 months, 2 to 4 months in every place. And I went to Peru, and I lived in Lima for like a year. A year and a half. I lived in Peru for a year and a half. I spent 3 months just traveling throughout the South, kind of making mental notes of places I want to return and spend another month or 3. Paracas Beach is one of those places you could just sit and be mellow every single day and do hardly anything and thoroughly enjoy your life. But that's true, though, isn't it? I mean, your life it's like this beautiful poem, but if you speak it, you're not really enjoying it. You got to sit with it, observe it. Here's another quote. Nature is full of genius, full of the divinity, so that not a snowflake escapes its fashioning hand. Okay, here's a poem. Epitaph on the world. Here lies the body of this world, whose soul, alas, to hell is hurled. This golden youth long since was past, its silver manhood went as fast. An iron age drew on at last. 'Tis vain its character to tell, with the several fates which it befell. What year it died, when 'twill arise, we only know that here it lies. It's perfect for the end of the 3D, isn't it? As a single footstep will not make a path on the earth, so a single thought will not make a pathway in the mind. To make a deep physical path, we walk again and again. To make a deep mental path, we must think over and over the kind of thoughts we wish to dominate our lives. Well, there you have it, ladies and gents. That is the law of attraction, as spoken of by Henry David Thoreau over 200 years ago. Almost 200 years ago. And I found a couple good quotes. I can't get away from the quotes with this man because he was just so incredible. God, there's a picture of him here that he looks like my friend Lance. It's so weird. Like literally, maybe my friend Lance is Henry David Thoreau from another life. Okay. I am still a learner, not a teacher, feeding somewhat omnivorously, browsing both stalks and leaves. Thought that was interesting. Do not lose hold of your dreams or aspirations, for if you do, you may still exist, but you have ceased to live. You must live in the present. Launch yourself on every wave. Find your eternity in each moment. I think I already read that one, but if you're in the present moment, you won't remember, right? All right. I'm looking at more poems here. I'm kind of doing this as I go along. There's so much information. The moon. The full-orbed moon, with unchanged ray, mounts up the eastern sky, not doomed to these short nights for aye, but shining steadily. She does not wane, but my fortune, which her rays do not bless. My wayward path declineth soon, but she shines not the less. And if she faintly glimmers here, and paled is her light, yet always in her proper sphere, she's mistress of the night. Well, sounds to me like somebody understands the moon completely. Remember my conversation I had with the spirit of the moon? That was pretty interesting. She doesn't really care what happens to us because she loves everything equally. Thought that was pretty cool. Strange, a cool thing to learn about the moon. Okay, now here's a poem about the sun. I am the autumnal sun. Sometimes a mortal feels in himself nature, not his father, but his mother stirs within him, and he becomes immortal with her immortality. From time to time she claims kindredship with us, and some globule from her veins steals up into our own. I am the autumnal sun, with autumn gales my race is run. When will the hazel put forth its flowers, or the grape ripen under my bowers? When will the harvest or the hunter's moon turn my midnight into mid-noon? I am all sere and yellow, and to my core mellow. The mast is dropping within my woods. The winter is lurking within my moods, and the rustling of the withered leaf is the constant music of my grief. And here's a poem about friendship. It's called, Indeed, Indeed, I Cannot Tell. Indeed, indeed, I cannot tell, though I ponder on it well, which were easier to state, all my love or all my hate. Surely, surely thou wilt trust me when I say thou dost disgust me. Oh, I hate thee with a hate that would fain annihilate. Yet sometimes against my will, my dear friend, I love thee still. If it were treason to our love and a sin to God above, one iota to abate of a pure impartial hate. Conscience. Conscience is instinct bred in the house. Feeling and thinking propagate the sin by an unnatural breeding in and in. I say turn it outdoors into the moors. I love a life whose plot is simple and does not thicken with every pimple. A soul so sound, no sickly conscience binds it, that makes the universe no worse than it finds it. I love an earnest soul, whose mighty joy and sorrow are not drowned in a bowl, and brought to life tomorrow, that lives one tragedy and not 70. A conscience worth keeping, laughing, not weeping. A conscience wise and steady and forever ready, not changing with events, dealing in compliments. A conscience exercised about large things where one may doubt. I love a soul, not olive wood, predestined to be good, but true to the backbone, unto itself alone, and false to none. Born to its own affairs, its own joys and own cares, by whom the work which God begun is finished and not undone, taken up where he left off, whether to worship or to scoff. If not good, why then evil? If not good God, good devil. Goodness, you hypocrite, come out of that. Live your life, do your work, then take your hat. I have no patience towards such conscientious cowards. Give me simple laboring folk, who love their work, whose virtue is song, to cheer God along. Free love. My love must be as free as is the eagle's wing, hovering o'er land and sea and everything. I must not dim my eye in thy saloon. I must not leave my sky and nightly moon. Be not the fowler's net, which stays my flight and craftily is set to lure the sight, but be the favoring gale that bears me on, and still doth my sail fill when thou art gone. I cannot leave my sky for thy caprice. True love would soar as high as heaven is. The eagle would not brook her mate thus won, who trained his eye to look beneath the sun. I knew a man by sight. I knew a man by sight, a blameless wight, who for a year or more had daily passed my door, yet converse none had with him. I met him in a lane, him and his cane, about 3 miles from home, where I had chanced to roam, and volumes stared at him, and he at me. In a more distant place I glimpsed his face, and bowed as instinctively. Starting, he bowed to me, bowed simultaneously, and passed along. Next, in a foreign land, I grasped his hand and had a social chat about this thing and that, as I had known him well 1,000 years. Late in a wilderness, I shared his mess, for he had hardships seen, and I a wanderer been. He was my bosom friend, and I was his. And as methinks shall all, both great and small, that ever lived on earth, early or late their birth, stranger and foe, one day each other know. All right, guys, that one got me. That one got me a little bit. Got a little tear in my eye. And a tear in my other eye, too. It's true, we all know each other, isn't it? We all know each other. And if we don't know each other now, we will eventually. There's so many of us, and yet we're just one. We live under the law. The law of one, man. Okay, I think this is going to be the last poem of the night, and I'll be back next Saturday with more poetry from a different poet. And I might continue on the poetry maybe every week for a while, I'm thinking, because now that we live on New Earth, we should probably take pause at least once a week to truly enjoy all the things we seek. We need to seek out beauty, love, happiness, and peace. And there's really nothing else that we should focus on, really. Our goals, our dreams, our hopes. So I think that if we took one day a week off and paused, it might help us, yeah? I know it's going to help me, so. This is a pretty long poem. It's called Inspiration. Whatever we leave to God, God does and blesses us. The work we choose should be our own. God leaves us alone. If with light head erect I sing, though all the muses lend their force, from my poor love of anything, the verse is weak and shallow at its source. But if with bended neck I grope, listening behind me for my wit, with faith superior to hope, more anxious to keep back than forward it, making my soul making my soul accomplice there unto the flame my heart hath lit, then will the verse forever wear. Time cannot bend the line which God hath writ. Always the general show of things floats in review before the mind, and such true love and reverence brings that sometimes I forget that I am blind. But now there comes unsought, unseen, some clear divine electuary, and I, who had but sensual being, grow sensible, and as God is, am wary. I hearing get, who had but ears, and sight, who had but eyes before. I moments live, who lived but years, and truth discern, who knew but learning's lore. I hear beyond the range of sound, I see beyond the range of sight, new earths and skies and seas around, and in my day the sun doth pale his light. A clear and ancient harmony pierces my soul through all its din, as through its utmost melody, farther behind than they farther within. More swift its bolt than lightning is, its voice that thunder is more loud. It doth expand my privacies to all and leave me single in the crowd. It speaks with such authority, with so serene and lofty tone, that idle time runs gadding by and leaves me with eternity alone. Now chiefly is my natal hour, and only now my prime of life. Of manhood's strength it is the flower, 'tis peace's end and war's beginning strife. It comes in summer's broadest noon, by a gray wall or some chance place, unseasoning time, insulting June, and vexing day with its presuming face. Such fragrant round my couch it makes more rich than our Arabian drugs, that my soul scents its life and wakes the body up beneath its perfumed rugs. Such is the muse, the heavenly maid, the star that guides our mortal course, which shows where life's true kernels laid, its wheat's fine flour, its undying force. She with one breath attunes the spheres, and also my poor human heart. With one impulse propels the years around and gives my throbbing pulse its start. I will not doubt forevermore, nor falter from a steadfast faith, for thought the system be turned o'er. God takes not back the word which once he saith. I will not doubt the love untold, which not my worth nor want has brought, which wooed me young and woos me old, and to this evening hath me brought. My memory I'll educate to know the one historic truth, remembering to the latest date the only true and sole immortal youth. But be but thy inspiration given, no matter through what danger sought, all fathom hell or climb to heaven, and yet esteem that cheap with love has bought. Fame cannot tempt the bard who's famous with his God, nor laurel him reward who has his maker's nod. Okay, I'm going to read now one last little thing from Henry David Thoreau before I wrap it up for the evening. This is one paragraph out of A Winter Walk, It's a 10-page essay. And if you want to read more, Henry David Thoreau, excuse me, wow, almost done with the cold, almost done. You could go to thoreau-online.org, and all of his writings are right here. Essays, correspondence, poems, you name it. So it's pretty cool. It's a really easy website to read his stuff. It's not a lot of intrusion as far as ads are concerned or whatever. So I like it. It's actually pretty cool. I'll probably bookmark it and read quite a bit more later. So in this essay, he's talking about when you go to sleep and you wake up to a lot of snow. And I'm going to dedicate this to all the people in the world that will wake up to a boatload of snow tomorrow. I know it's coming in the Midwest. Probably will blanket Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis. Tomorrow, probably you guys will wake up to the white, gooey goodness that is the snow, and it'll crunch under your moon boots. Ha! No one wears moon boots anymore, but under your snow boots. And it's just the sound is different when the whole world is blanketed in snow. If you've never experienced snow, I highly recommend it. Not for, 9 months out of the year, but go experience snow for a week. Make snow angels, make snowmen and snow women. I prefer the dirty snowmen and dirty snow women. I don't mean with dirt on them, but give them a nice set of, whatever. Make them naked, like naked people. It's hilarious. Not going to describe it, but you can imagine. I love snow. Snow is amazing. Come up with an arsenal of snowballs and have a snowball fight. Don't make an ice ball fight. That's just not fair. That hurts. But snow is beautiful. And Henry David Thoreau thought so too. And so he wrote a 10-page essay on taking a walk in the snow in wintertime. I'm going to just read one paragraph. It's not even the first paragraph. It's the second one. We sleep and at length awake to the still reality of a winter morning. The snow lies warm as cotton or down upon the windowsill. The broadened sash and frosted panes admit a dim and private light, which enhances the snug cheer within. The stillness of the morning is impressive. The floor creaks under our feet as we move toward the window to look abroad through some clear space or the fields. We see the roofs stand under their snow burden. From the eaves and fences hang stalactites of snow, and in the yard stand stalagmites covering some concealed core. The trees and shrubs rear white arms to the sky on every side, and where were walls and fences, we see fantastic forms stretching in frolic gambols across the dusky landscape, as if nature had strewn her fresh designs over the fields by night as models for man's art. I hope you enjoyed the various readings from Henry David Thoreau. And wherever in the universe he is, I wish him love and light. God rest his beautiful soul. He had a little bit of feistiness, but a reverence and love for God and nature. I don't know, I kind of relate to this guy now that I've learned a little bit more about him with you tonight. I mean, I've had to read his stuff throughout college and throughout high school, but it's nice to revisit it, willingly when it's not thrust upon you. It's a little bit better. Anyway, I love each and every one of you. I'm glad you are on the spiritual journey with me and that we are building out New Earth together here in the fifth dimension. I hope you take pause in your life and enjoy the poetry of nature that exists all around you. But with that, I am signing off with peace and love and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Yeah! Until next time, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.